So, a lot of people are getting triggered. I'm seeing people getting triggered online. And so, we are going to analyze the film plot of Vanilla Sky. I was put onto this film by Ms. Claire Nakti. And happy birthday to Batuka Bhairava Bhairav Baba. This is a map of Nepal. Okay, Vanilla Sky, right? Claire Nakti mentioned it in her analysis of Chitra Swati nakshatras, I think. And today we are in Uttara Falguni, the last two chairs or last two posts of the funeral bed. I thought this image is quite apt. So Purva Falguni is here, Uttara Falguni is here. Okay. The timeline as archaeology. Hero meets blonde interest, and by the time the film starts, they're already like deeply in their physical relationship. The blonde is more interested in the hero is less interested. And hero goes to a New York City party. He visits the apartment of Penelope Cruz character, and she says this line like, "It's my life, it's nobody else's life." So she's like a very self aware, strong, independent, high earning woman, and she joked that she's like an arms dealer. And then Tom Cruise's character waits for his chance. Oh, and the backdrop of the romantic plot is that he is on some kind of board with the seven dwarves, nickname for those people who are trying to steal the company from him. And this is like the boring corporate backdrop, but he is filthy rich, so that is important for understanding why it's relevant for our current cultural moment. And then he enters the relationship with Miss Cruz's character. Somehow blonde girl is not happy with that arrangement, and she tries to fight for status with Tom Cruise's character, but then dies in an accident. I watched this film like a couple weeks ago, and I had no idea why I wanted to watch it because I don't usually like go back in time in terms of my film choices, but for some reason I watched it. And now we are in this cultural moment where this is so relevant to like what people are going through and getting triggered over. And then part 6 of the timeline. The hero, played by Tom Cruise, gets facial surgery and feels bad about his new appearance. He fights with his novelist friend and Miss Penelope Cruz's character at a bar. And the novelist friend reminds me a lot of my intellectual friends back in the day. And I think they also struggle with like the United States timeline. Like, are we going to be the top dog forever? Or should we also have like multicultural interests? So that's also how I see like the competition between these two women for so-called status is also like kind of telling of like what the alpha male of the United States wants. Like, does he want the new girl, right? Or does he want the traditional choice? That was how I read the film. And then there's a twist, there's a sci fi twist. So, hero mistakes Miss Penelope Cruz's character for Blonde X and strangles her because he felt manipulated by Miss Blonde. Like he felt that Miss Blonde somehow snuck into his room with stolen keys and then replaced Miss Cruz's character through hook and crook, by hook or crook. And then he was feeling really bad, and he's retelling all of this to like a therapist guru. Hero discusses past with the therapist while inside a mental institution. So he's trying to get absolved while speaking to a therapist who I think is like Mark Gaffney in this situation. Okay, and then final scene, final stage of the film. A man with accent appears, and he used to be like a rando in the hero's life story, but then he is actually a middle management of a really high-end company that specializes in creating dreams into reality. And then so he's like coming out to Tom Cruise's character saying, "I'm a scientist and you're in a dream, okay? You did not murder Miss Cruz's character. You were actually just acting out your secret desires. But that's the thing. If those are his desires, shouldn't we be concerned? Anyways, Jay Batuka Bhairava, and if you haven't watched Vanilla Sky, maybe this is the time to watch it, and take care. Thanks for listening. Bye.